So last thing, what would you do? Any statement that you want to make or say to our listeners and our viewers before we tune out or leave?
I got one.
Okay.
I want to reiterate and reemphasize the importance of therapy. I think that everybody watching, if you've never had at least one therapy session, please sign up. You don't have to come to Connected Minds. We have a clinic in Marietta and all over Georgia, virtual and in person. If you want to come to Connected Minds, if you live in Georgia, we have therapists. But wherever you're listening from, if you've never had a therapy session, I need you to sign up for one. Because 99% of the issues that were talked about today are a direct reflection of low self-esteem. When you have low self-esteem, when you don't know who you are as a person, you'll choose a bad person to have children with. You will make poor choices. When you go to therapy, you discover who you are, the things that made you who you are, and a way to become somebody that you want to be. That will then lead you to pick the right partner and do things in good timing and good fashion. So I think that therapy, you need it ASAP. And that's really my biggest advice to all fathers, Black fathers, anybody. Just go to therapy, please, ASAP.
Okay. All right. And also, will you give your last statement and tell us how we can contact you? I know you're a minister, and you're also an educator, but if you want to add that too.
I would say men, Black men in particular, your role is invaluable and your role is very important within our community. And so the more that we're seen around, and it's not a matter of just being a father to your own children, as kind gentleman was saying, it's also about being a father unto the fatherless. Because there's opportunities for us to work with children, to help children out in our community, to help children out in our neighborhoods that may not have fathers around. Our role is so important and pivotal, and working in elementary schools through high school. I've worked elementary, middle, and high. All of those kids look for discipline. They look for love. They know that they need it. And when it's lacking, it shows. It shows in their decisions. It shows in the moves that we make. So it's so important that we, if you're part of a church, if you're part of an organization, do whatever you can to help the children that are around you. Be a father unto the fatherless, help out as much as you can. And our website is www.thebocc.com. That's the Body of Christ Church. You can look us up there. It's THEBOCC.com. You can learn about fatherhood and all other things related to repentance. That's what we focus on.
Good.
All right. My closing remarks is what I would like to see us to do better as Black fathers, and this is for the women too. I would like to see our whole culture start to celebrate and appreciate, show appreciation for what men do. We go unappreciated, unrecognized. We're just expected to show up and do what we do. And that goes a long way. A guy told me one time, he said, "What do people love more than money?" One of my mentors. I said, "I can't think of anything." He said, "Recognition." He said, "If you bought somebody on stage and say you're the employee of the month, that goes way further way than here's $100 to put in your pocket." Because just think about it. A lot of kids, especially the boys, growing up in society, they don't get appreciated. They just wake up, mom wakes up, whether she's a single mom or a husband and wife, the guys are just, and the boys are just expected to do what they're supposed to do. And what they call it, man up. So, go cut that grass. Go wash that car. Go to the store and get this. Go do this. Go do this. It's just demands and orders. But nobody said, "Oh, I appreciate you going to the store." We don't get that. Y'all call it love. The women call it love. You need to love the kids. So love your kids and the men too, through showing them that you appreciate them, not just showing them, but saying it to them. I'm telling you, that goes a long way. And that's just gonna, help a lot of these kids start to look up to the men rather than Lil Wayne and Drake and all of those people as mentors, because people look up to the people that appreciate them. Celebrate the people that celebrate you. So if we're not celebrating our young boys coming up, we're not celebrating men, guess what? They ain't gonna celebrate you. They may tell you they celebrate you and pretend that they celebrate you, but they really looking for the one that's gonna celebrate them. True values.
And how can folks get to know more about L&M landscaping?
Well, you can go to lmmlandscapeservice.com. We do have mentoring programs. We have programs to help you start your own landscaping business, teach your trade. So we're not just employing people, we're, building legacy. We're building, foundations for you to be a great provider, for you to have a skill set. So like I mentioned earlier, where the focus was, and we hire men and women, the focus was on the women going to get an education. I've always focused on teaching our young men coming up a trade, giving them a trade. Because my kids, that's why I started my business when I was in high school, because I always wanted my kids to have a choice. So all of them know how to run a lawnmower. All of them know how to back up a trailer. Because when that boss on your job says, "Look, we don't need you anymore," hey, Dad, I'm ready to back up some trailers. I'm ready to dig some holes. I'm ready to put up a fence. Because I taught them. I didn't give them the option. I was the head of the house. You want to go to the store? You want them new Jordans? What you doing on Saturday? Let's go to work, and I'm gonna pay you work you like a man or work you like a woman, and I'm gonna pay you. And that's how I raise my kids. And I'm encouraging other kids. See, that's another thing. When I was growing up, if your father was a mechanic, you knew about, as a boy coming up, you know how to fix cars. If your dad cleaned buildings, guess what? You went and worked with your dad at night.
So that also taught skills.
That taught skills, and it built men. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? You don't see that today. Okay. That's it.
Well, I can definitely say therapy is real. Since I have became a father, I can tell you I probably needed therapy when I first became a father. But definitely after failed attempts at marriage, I will say definitely the therapy is what got me through it, to understand. And also male counseling, as far as having a direction, as far as I need to understand what a black male direction is. I don't need to know about white, Hispanic, or anybody else. As a black male, I need to know from another black male and female, as far as what they envision a real father is, what is the path to that? And that's a very hard question for a young person. A young person, I really feel like I ain't even gonna think about that particular question to ask anyone. Because first of all, you're not being responsible at what you see. You're not ready for the responsibility of life half the time, with the way how the system has us. So timing and everything is off. So timing is everything. Understanding what you're doing to someone else, yourself, and a child, and having some type of moral compass about yourself to not leave them in the cold. You should have a child with someone that has a moral compass. you can tell when a male is not going to be there most of the time. And most of the time, we'd be like, how did the male have this kid, knowing that you know he's not going to be there? So for the women too, understanding who you're having a child by. You know, you see they trying to take away a lot of the female rights. Mm-hmm. They trying to question what a female is these days. So y'all have to understand what y'all are and what y'all job is to a man, and being able to step back and allow a man to be a man and give him room to grow to be a man. A lot of times we don't even get enough time to grow and the relationship is over. I stepped out the house wrong. It's over with. I find somebody else to be daddy. Go on about your way. I'm good. I make a good check. I'm good. Understanding that man, no matter if he makes more money than you or not, he still is the man. He still should be the leader of the household, and he still should be raising the babies the way how they are supposed to be raised. So that way, when we get older as parents, being in married, being in a couple, being in whatever we're going to do, we can look back and say, we did right by them. We taught them the proper thing and showed them the right thing. The only way I feel like I'm really good right now, my parents didn't argue. They didn't bicker. They didn't call, and I ain't hear no phone call. Why I ain't getting no money today? Why you ain't come get them today? They never did that. Both my fathers never argued. Didn't get mad when my dad came to the door to pick me up. Didn't say, oh, that joker can't come here. You need to meet him up the street. You never create no type of nothing between the relationship of that. Because everybody needs to play a part, man. And it's very dangerous to isolate kids.
Oh, yeah.
Very dangerous.
Absolutely.
I said, and you know what I heard, like the song that kept going through my head is, "How do I mend a broken heart?" We as a people, so there was talk about how systemically racism broke our families apart. We all know that's the way the system is designed. But then I heard this resentment towards women. You guys are all men. And I heard it was stinging a little bit. I was like, well, wait a minute. You're right about that, but okay, wait a minute. What about this? Because women have to deal with a lot too. And so for the betterment of our children, how do we mend that brokenness? And I began to hear some of the answers, quite frankly. But that's the question.
Number one, I think the answer to that question is stop allowing whatever entities they are to create a division between us and our women, between Black men and Black women, because there's a lot of work out there to create that division between us. When we stick to, like I said, I go back to the scriptures. When we stick to the scriptures with a man at the head of his household, learning together with his wife, teaching the children, then it's very hard to bring that division in amongst us. So we need to be on one page and not allow all these different elements that are out there in this world through media, through society or whatever, to convince you that we're supposed to be warring against our women. Any nation that you looked at throughout the history, they went in and what did they do? Conquered the men first, so then they could what? Do what they wanted to the women. We have to stand together in all battles, all fights, especially in raising our children in a society that's working against them in every facet that you can imagine.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as the second question was resentment, and I would never hold any resentment towards any female or anyone. My only thing is that I just get upset that why we have to follow that narrative of that program. We well enough know by now that the system is here. The system is in place. Why do we have to keep falling down that? Why do we have to keep following the program? You know, us as Black people in the community, we know what happened to us way back in the day, and we should know how to control our feelings and our emotions about all this stuff swirling around our names right now. Everything about a black person is so negative. And it's crazy because you can see a black household, a black family out here having a good time, but they'll still try to have a narrative. Or they doing something. Well, they enjoying themselves to me. No, they're doing something. You know, I just hate the narrative.
Yeah, resentment. You know, it seems like we would resent a lot of in our lives because we turn out to get the bulk of when a relationship doesn't work out, the man normally suffers the most. And so people will automatically think, well, he resents her because he got to pay child support, or they had to sell their home, or he had to always pay alimony. So you just automatically, another myth, thinks that, okay, he got to resent her because I would, she took him through all of that. But that's not the case. We just, as black men, ladies, all we want is someone to grow with, someone to love us for the long haul. That's what we are interested in, and we're, men are stepping up to the plate every day, and that's all we ask in return is, I'm gonna share this with you, and then pass the mic. Something I learned, I read this book about relationships, and I teach my kids, and I share this with as many people as I can. When you start dating a person, sit down and write your movie script on what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? Okay, you got your turn. We're going to write this movie. This is our life. What does it look like to you? What does it look like to him? And once you compare notes, then that'll give you the opportunity to look at each other closely and say, okay, I don't like to cook. He want a woman that cooks. So we call it red flags, but how many times do we pay attention to the red flags when you're dating? How many times do we ignore, because she got a Coca-Cola shape or pretty hair, or, you're just attracted to her. So you just ignore all the signs that's saying, y'all just not a good match. So this exercise helps you put it down in writing, so that you can make good decisions on, like you were saying earlier, about picking the right mother for your children, picking the right wife, so that, we can get back to what I saw when I was a little kid. Everybody on the street was married with kids and families until they died. There was commitment, lifetime commitment. Did they all live a straight, narrow life? Absolutely not. But they were committed to the family. And that's what we have to do. That's what I think I've heard everybody say. Men and women, we have to be committed to the family, because through it all, it may rain, it may storm, but, the sun always comes back shining bright.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. I would say, regarding the resentment piece, if we could stop promoting an entertainment culture that devalues black men not be as resentful towards black men. But if Megan Thee Stallion shows up tomorrow to do a concert in Atlanta, and the line is wrapped around the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and it's all black women promoting this music that says literally in the lyrics, we don't need or want a black man. I can do it all by myself. All this rhetoric then we're never going to be able to destroy the resentment. We have to see Black women rallying behind us in order to break down the resentment, because you're either with us or you're the op.
Hey,
Okay.
I would like to say that I think that the government understood how powerful the Black woman was,
Absolutely.
even more than what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And they understood that that Black woman has way more power than that Black man. If we change her mindset,
Mm-hmm.
the man will fall.
Oh my gosh.
Because at the end of the day, if y'all said to yourselves, I don't want to deal with no more confusion,
Mm-hmm.
no more trifleness, no more absentness, no more negativeness, anything that ain't of what a proud Black man supposed to be.
Absolutely.
You will start to kill off all those
negative stereotypes.
negative stereotypes.
Because men will rise up because women not accepting anything less, right?
Yes. And oddly enough, by them affecting all the food stamps and all the Medicaid and every last benefit,
that keep the men from having to
Value.
Okay.
that changes our value.
Okay. Okay.
You now because you
now
take that away.
We're replaced by the government.
Yes.
I got it.
Now the government is taking that away.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking a little bit more.
Yes.
I'm not going to get that benefit that I used to. So now I might need to go ahead and talk to them a little more. How you doing today?
Be a little nicer.
Our babies are doing well.
Okay.
You know, they want to come see you today.
Stick around after one,
Yeah.
one man cheats and then you run out the house, destroy the whole relationship.
Yeah.
There's no forgiveness. There's no, okay, let's work things out. It's always like, he cheated on me. The relationship's completely over, like just done. Throw them away like trash. What happened to working through a marriage?
Hey,
So
counseling on both parts, both participate.
Yes.
When I did, I participated.
Yeah.
It was over for the other person in two scenarios. And I'm just like, for me, what was odd enough, when they went and did whatever they wanted to do, next thing they know, hey, I want to get back together. No, we tried counseling. It didn't work. We already separated. What are we going to do? Well, we can go do counseling.
Okay, so now we're talking into something completely different. We're going to explore that maybe on our second installment. But there is another question here. What's that question?
Please.
I mean, before there was Megan Thee Stallion, there was a lot of gangster rap who named us bees, right? Women were bees. I mean, we began to think that was our name, right? So I just think that we're going into, if we have to recognize that all of it is systemic. I mean, there's a music industry who was built to tear us down as people. So that's one point to make. But the second point is, and this is for the young men, the older men who grew up. I grew up I was born in the 60s, and so I understand.
Can you give her the mic to make sure?
I understand your standpoint, but when you look at the younger women, the younger women tend to be more egalitarian. They don't necessarily go for the head of the household thing. They're a matriarch. They are more matriarch, not, or at least egalitarian. They see themselves as partners, as equal partners. And how do you deal with that? And if you look historically at the root of it, because our world is smaller, if you look at the countries that we really come from, those societies are matriarch. Okay, many African communities that we come from are matriarch. And that may be why genetically we are sort of strong people as women. We kind of come that way. So this is for the young men. Am I telling you the truth about that? Have you noticed that about young women?
Yes.
So how do you deal with that in this new world and still do what we need to do to have healthy, happy, functioning children? That's what I'm. Here we go.
To answer that, Yes, I have a strong wife, strong wife, and um, I don't believe in 50-50, but I wanted my wife to believe in if I need you, I need you. And it took actually my father that she was taking a break from working, and we was going through some issues, financial issues. And my father actually was the one that sat down with her and was like, hey, if it's two of y'all, y'all should be able to rule the world. You should not go without if it's two. Like you can't have and you also as a man can't want to try to rule over someone when you can't even mentally rule over your own world. You know, like I can sit here and talk all day about being a man, but I have to actually do the work and be able to show you that that's what I am. You have to see that I'm a man, not just hear it, not just want me to bark orders, and especially about the barking orders and stuff like that. You got to communicate with each other respectfully. And y'all especially gonna demand respect. Like you're not gonna be able to talk to you any type of way that's that's not respectful. It's just not gonna work. So mostly it's respect and it's understanding each financial situation that you are gonna come across, how we gonna handle it, and let's be respectful. We're like now she's willing to. She says I have never gave a man money. That was her big thing, and every time she would have to give me some, she don't want to do it. But as we got further in relationship, got more comfortable with each other, it became now I can hold my head up. Here you go and handle that. Go on and do what you need to do because it don't feel like you're giving away your money for nothing.
Yeah.
When you make an investment in a human being, a lot of times we stay in stuff because we done made so much of an investment in it. We want to see it. I mean, the whole building could be burning down, and we can still want to see it come out of those ashes, and we don't know when to stop. I mean, jokers we have 20 be gone, then left out the house. When they got milk, they never came back, and the woman still sitting there like he gonna come back. Like no, you know, it's just understanding when to stop, when to go, when to talk, when to communicate, when to respect each other's financial situations. And even as me as a black man, if something happened where I don't have the money, that doesn't mean that I'm not a man. And that doesn't mean treat me as a boy. You know, because yeah, that happens a lot.
Okay. I like the answer. Do we have anybody else that want to answer?
I would say that my parents are going to celebrate their 50th year anniversary next year. And so I got to see strong parents. And I'll say that it comes with ebbs and flows. No one's the leader of the household every day, every second, for the entire time you're married. You know, this idea is kind of antiquated, honestly. At certain times, my mom led the household. She made the decisions that made sense for us. My dad was never absent, but sometimes she just knew what to do. And, you know, sometimes my dad made decisions that weren't that great, you know. It just is what it is. I don't think that we should have this idea that being in a relationship means as a man, I stomp on you as a woman and your ability to do and think. So I want to dispel that myth. Being a strong leader is also knowing when to step back. You know, as it comes to our clinic, you know, yeah, I'm the psychiatrist. My fiance here is a psychologist and she's the clinical director. But that doesn't mean that I stomp on her decision making every second of the day. Like, no. Many times I'm like, what do you want to do? What should we do? She makes a lot of decisions for us. And I think that she does a great job at it. And just because I'm the man doesn't mean that I have to exert myself in some particular way. So I think that it's harmful. I think that's a belief system that's harmful. It's a partnership.
So I like that, and I want to leave unless someone else you want to add that.
So, you know, I talked a lot about being a leader and men taking their roles, right? But I want to say that it's a misconception that a man taking his role means that you're stomping on someone.
Right.
or a man taking his leadership in the household means that the woman just shuts down and does everything the man says like a dictatorship. When you look at a way a real household runs, and you're dealing with the scriptures as the foundation, then you understand that guess what? You don't have to force anyone to follow you. If you're a leader, anyone that has to say, I'm the leader, I'm the man of this house, you're not the man of the house. Well, what it is what? As he was saying in some parts, you work with your wife, there's decisions that are to be made, but women are wise too. And women have learned throughout the generations how to run certain things in the household, how to run households. So you and your wife together are running a household, and it's like you have two people working together to run that household, especially when it comes to children. There's not going to be division with, you know how the kids do it. Well, daddy said I could do this. Well, what did your mom say? And you know, you're going back and forth. No, when you're on one accord, you're flowing together seamlessly. And that's how we take care of that.
Okay, this was enlightening. Thank you for asking that question. I think our next or second installment will probably begin with that, because I wonder if what you guys just said is considered progressive or modern day relationships. Because as the guest just said, one of the members of the audience said, you know, a lot of times young women look at partnership versus the roles, or maybe they're the same. Who knows? But maybe that's the next thing that we will do, start off our second installment on this particular series. Anyway, again, I would like to thank my guest, my honored guest. I am very pleased and very excited. I'm honored myself because you guys believe in my vision. And y'all came out here on this kind of chilly day. And y'all talk. I've learned a lot. I mean, as a woman, all I keep saying, I'm just an attorney that do this type of work. But I have learned so much from you guys just sitting here. Anyway, like I said, if you are blessed with this information and you need some help, or you think you need to talk to someone, or have questions about being a father or your rights as a father, check us out at info. You can contact me at info@thefathersadvocate.com, or you can check us out on all the social media platforms. The handle is The Father's Advocate, and you can also check out our podcast at www.thefathersadvocate.com. Until next time, this is Attorney Hughes, The Father's Advocate, and the Bulldog Attorney, fighting for justice. And don't stop fighting. Your children do need